This is scene 2 on the face of it. At the end of the first scene, we have seen Derry left Mr. Lamb's garden, and while going, he jokingly, half jokingly and half challengingly told Mr. Lamb that I don't have a tin leg like you, I can move, see I'm going, but I'll come back. And Mr. Lamb then, in a soliloquy, he told his bees that this boy has told, and you know it very well, people come and they say they will come again, but they don't come. Now we'll see in scene 2 what happens, whether Derry comes back or not. And this scene is set. A scene means a particular event, series of events that takes place in a particular place. Earlier, the whole thing happened in Mr. Lamb's garden, that is scene 1. Now the place will be changed. Now things will happen at Derry's house. It is Derry's house. In Derry's house, the second scene takes place, and the characters are. His mother is the first person to speak. Derry has reached home, and his mother was worried about him, and now when he has reached home, she is now scolding him. She says, "You think I don't know what about him? You think I haven't heard things?" When her mother came to know that her son was spending the whole day in the company of that old man, she is saying, "Why were you here? Do you think I don't know this man?" This means that in the surroundings, there are some people in whose mind there is some negative idea about the old man. They thought the old man is not the right person, that it is not safe to be with him. So you are saying that you were with him. Do you think that I don't know about him? I have heard everything about him. Derry then says, "You shouldn't believe all you hear." He is actually applying all the knowledge he has gathered from Mr. Lamb. Very immediately he has got an opportunity to apply them. Whatever he learned from Mr. Lamb, he is applying it on his mother. He is telling his mother, "You shouldn't believe all you hear." Mother says, "Been told." Been told means I have been told. I have been warned. It means people have told me. People have warned me. We have not lived here 3 months, but I know what there is to know. And you are not to go back there. It is not 3 months since we have come here, but still I have come to know about the people who are living all around us, and people have told me, people have warned me, and I know everything about the people here, about that particular old man. So the final thing is that you cannot go back there. Then he says, "What are you afraid of? What do you think he is? An old man with a tin leg, and he lives in a huge house without curtains and has a garden. And I want to be there and sit and listen to things. Listen and look. What are you afraid of? He is an old man with a tin leg. A huge house is there. He lives in it. There is no curtain. There is a garden. And I must go there. I have to go and sit with him. I have to listen to things. I have to listen and look." Mother said, "Listen to what?" He says, "Bees singing, him talking. I want to listen to the bees singing, and I want to listen to him talking." Bees will sing, that is something natural. This will make me happy. He will talk, that is also something that will give me courage. Mother said, "And what has he got to say to you? You want to listen to him talking, but what have you got to listen to him? What has he got to tell you?" Then Derry gives a very beautiful reply. He said, "Things that matter, things nobody else has ever said, things I want to think about." This man speaks in a unique way. In my whole life, I have never found a single individual like him. So he says, he talks about things that matter, things that are important, things that are worthy. He talks about things that nobody else has ever said to me. And he talks about things that I want to think about. So I have got a very good companion, because he speaks in a way in which I also want to listen to. I also want to think about the same kind of things. There is some uniqueness in him. The way he speaks, no one speaks in this way. He talks about some issues, some things which no one else has ever spoken about. So he talks about certain things in which I also want to think about. Mother says, "Then you stay here and do your thinking. You are best off here. This is the best place for you to live. You should not leave it. If you want to think, do your thinking here." Then he says, "I hate it here." When he says, "I hate it here," the mother knows that it is these people, it is the surroundings, it is the family, it is she herself who have made this kind of life for Derry. And now she understands that mistake, and she says that, "You can't help the things you say. I forgive you. it's bound to make you feel bad things and say, damn, I don't blame you. Yes, you hate this place, but I don't blame you, and the situation has become like this, and you cannot help the things you say. The way you are saying to go to him and to talk to him, this will not work. This will not be that suitable. I forgive you for making this place not a happy place for you, but I feel bad, and I don't blame you. She is trying to take him into her bosom. She is trying to make him feel her love, because she has already discovered that the boy has become really very challenging. He is speaking in a very challenging way. She is trying to change his mind, but Derry says, it's got nothing to do with my face. All these years you people are talking about my face, it is ugly, how I will live, how I will do this or that. All the people are saying only all those nonsense things. Now I have learned it. It has got nothing to do with my face and what I look like, my face, they are nothing. Why you people are only concentrating on those things? I don't care about that, and it isn't important. It's what I think and feel and what I want to see and find out and hear. That is important. What I think, what I feel, what I want, that is important. Look and face are not that important. And I am going back there only to help him with the crab apples, only to look at things and listen. But I am going. You will stop here? Mother said, no, you cannot go. But he said, oh no, because if I don't go back there, I'll never go anywhere in this world again. I have to go. That is my final choice, final decision. If I don't go there, I'll never go anywhere in the world. The door slams. He leaves his room. Derry runs, panting. He's running. And I want the world. While going, he is telling his mother, I want the world. I don't want to live a life that I used to live all these years. That you people made me think that I am of no value, I am lost, I am ruined, and it is just because of my burnt face. But now I have got a different idea, and I want to live. I want the world. I want it. And he leaves, and then his sound of panting also fades. This is the end of the second scene. In the second scene, we have found that Mr. Lamb's teaching on Derry, and Derry's meeting with Mr. Lamb has it has borne fruit. It has become fruitful. Derry is now a totally changed man, a changed boy. All those negative thoughts, all those old ideas have gone, and he is now having a very changed mindset. And for all these, thanks must go to Mr. Lamb. And now we'll have scene 3. And scene 3 will again take place in Mr. Lamb's garden, where Derry will go back there. Our question was whether Derry will go back. Yes, he is going back. You will find in scene 3 Mr. Lamb's garden sounds, the noise of a branch shifting, apples thumping down, the branch shifting again. When Derry reaches Mr. Lamb's garden, then he finds that Mr. Lamb was at work. The way you must have seen how a long stick is used to bring fruits, mango, any other fruit from tall trees. You take a long stick, and then you make a branch of the tree tremble, and then the fruits fall on the ground. That is what was happening. He said the noise of a branch shifting. The branch was shifting. It was moving, and then apples were thumping down. Apples were falling down. The branch shifting again. So Mr. Lamb was busy in his work. He was picking apples, standing on the ladder with the help of a long stick. And Mr. Lamb is talking. He is, while picking the apples with the help of a stick, standing on the ladder, he was talking. We have seen it. He talks to his bees, and now he is talking to his fruits. He is telling, steady, that's got it, that's it. Then more apples fall. He is just doing it, shifting, and then he is talking, and more apples fall. And again, that's it. And while he was doing it, there is suddenly a creaking sound, a crash. The ladder falls back. Mr. Lamb with it. The ladder falls back with Mr. Lamb. A thump, the thumping sound. The branch swishes back, creaks, then silence. Derry opens the garden gate, still panting. At that very moment, Derry has entered the garden. Mr. Lamb was doing this kind of things. He was picking the apples, and when he fell with the ladder on him, at that very moment, Derry entered the garden, and Derry, he did not know what happened to Mr. Lamb till now, and since he has come back, he gave the challenge, I will come back. Then he said, you see, I came back. You said I wouldn't, and they said, then his mother, they said I should not come, but I came back, I wanted. He stops dead, silent. Suddenly, he was telling all these things to Mr. Lamb, and then when he goes close to him, he finds Mr. Lamb. He stops dead. This stops dead means he stops like a dead body. He cannot move. Seeing what was there in front of him. What was it? Mr. Lamb, Mister, you have... He runs to the grass, stops, kneels. Mr. Lamb, it's all right. You fell, I am here. Mr. Lamb, it's all right. Silence. I came back, Lamb, I did come back. Then he begins to weep. Why does he weep? Because by this time Mr. Lamb has died. This was a very thing that Derry told once to Mr. Lamb, that I think you are living all alone, and at any moment while you are showing your courage that you have learned how to pick apples, but while picking your apples you may suddenly fall with your ladder and then you will die and no one will know. No? And what was Mr. Lamb's reply? He said, I am ready for it. I know that it may happen, but because such a thing may happen, should I stop living my life? And now what happens is that very ironical situation it is. You see, really this thing happened. What Derry was afraid of, what Derry had told Mr. Lamb earlier, the same thing has happened. But the good part of it is that Mr. Lamb was not apprehensive. He was not afraid of such a thing. He was ready for such a thing. But another good thing is that as Derry was afraid that Mr. Lamb might die when no one will know it, this did not happen. Because Mr. Lamb, while he died, at least Derry was there. The very Derry whom he loved so much, the very Derry whom he taught a new meaning of life. So for Mr. Lamb, dying at this old age is quite natural. At an old age, people will die. There is nothing so difficult here to understand or to accept. But the best part of the story is that before dying, Mr. Lamb has transmitted life to another body who was not having a life at all. So long, Derry was living a life just for the sake of living. He was not having a life at all. It was not a life at all. It was a life devoid of any kind of happiness. Only sadness, only misery, only difficulty and all those negativity. That is what he was. But now he is a transformed boy. He has got life, and the life that he has got, it is Mr. Derry. It is Mr. Derry who has transmitted life to him. So although Mr. Lamb will die, Mr. Lamb has died, but still he is successful that before dying he has given life to someone, and this life will no doubt carry on giving more life to more other suffering lot. And the teaching that this lesson gives us is that firstly we should concentrate on what we have, God's gifts that we have, and we have to work on them instead of thinking on what we don't have. What we don't have is very less in number, but what we do have, that is in abundance. We have to think on that one thing. Second thing is that if we can't help someone overcome his grief and suffering, at least we should not add to his grief and suffering. If we cannot make him happy, we should not make him unhappy at least. In our society, you will find that if someone has died and a young man has died and he has left small kids and his widow, and we will visit his home, and then they don't know how to behave. They often talk in a way in which they are the people who are the victims, people who are suffering because they have lost their father or husband, their life becomes more miserable. Go there, sit with them, try to say positive things, but you will find people going and then asking, how did it happen? It means the widow has to repeat, she has to recount the whole story again and again and again to whoever comes. This is a nonsense talk. So, in situations where you are supposed to pacify people, to console people, to add some happiness to their life, you have to know psychological facts. You have to be very intelligent. These are not easy things. This is one lesson we have learned from this, that we have to be intelligent and judicious and have psychological knowledge so that we can help people in difficult and complex situations. And another important point is that we have a lot of gifts given by God. We have to make the best use of it rather than concentrating on what we don't have. If we do that, then we can live a really very happy life. And I think what Derry has taught, Mr. Lam has taught Derry, the same thing is taught to you also. All of you are one Derry now, and you try to produce more Derrys so that the world can become a better place for living. Thank you very much.